Our pace of living leaves us little time for leisure. Our program will give you a chance to experience the fascinating world of traveling, extreme adventures, hunting and fishing. Each week we will take you to the most beautiful places of Kazakhstan. Despite being widespread in Kazakhstan and its large populations here, we haven't come across the smallest representative of the family of Phasianidae, except for occasional encounters when we unintentionally scared these cute birds in a field or pine wood. We have never tried to hunt for this kind of game before. The thing is, the quail is demanding game, and the hunter has to be more skillful when hunting for it compared to similar kinds of game. To hunt for the quail, pointing breeds of dog are ideal. The dog has to be properly trained and should be able to make stands for its master where the short game is hiding. Almost all of our friends have dogs of the suitable breed, but only Nurlan has the one that can chase the game while the hunter is shooting it. We eyewitnessed his job doing its job perfectly for several times while Nurlan was hunting for a game bird. Here is your hunting permission. Congratulations on the opening of the hunting season. Recently we have met Stanislav, an experienced dog trainer. Apart from training dogs, he breeds Drathar and German short-haired hunting kinds of dogs. At one of the weekends, we decided to set off for hunting for quails for the first time in our life. Experienced quail hunters suggest looking for the game in the grain fields that are particularly mown. The density of the game in such fields is usually higher than in the ones that are not cut. Usually hunters with their dogs form a chain when searching quail, browsing the remaining fields. Of course, it is more preferable to walk against the wind to make it easier for the dogs to do their searching job. We are in a hurry because we can't wait to start the hunt, so we have to browse the field for about an hour and a half with no result. At the moment, we were desperate for the game and had almost no hope when a quail suddenly springs right under our feet.
Ай, красота!
Well done, good boy! Come on, bring it here. The day is fine for hunting. Light wind blows, cooling our bodies that have been warmed up after some walking. Surrounded by the gold of wheat fields, the hunters walk towards Tanshine Mountains and the sun, enjoying every moment of the trip. On the chilly evening ground, the dogs make wonders performing stands, following the master's commands impeccably. Without these hunting assistants, the hunt would have no point. Of course, it will be possible to make the game bird rise from the high grass, but it would be practically impossible to do it for a shot bird, let alone the game that is only slightly wounded. Go search it, search it. The morning hunt starts at the dawn. During the evening hunt, we notice that we come across the game more often in the mixed fields of wheat and oat. Apparently, the oat has been here since last year and it was not cut in the right time, and the oat heads are empty with no grain. The sunset paints the fields in golden colors and the sight looks like the sea of gold, and we have a feeling we are sailing across this sea. The morning hunt proves to be successful. Jetysu wildlife shows its abundance and diversity. In the early autumn, it is still quite hot at the foot of Zaylialatau. Most animals here prefer to spend the hottest time of the day hiding in shade. Most of the plants are still green, but not as lush green as it was at the beginning of the summer. At daytime, there is no hunting. Only when the sun sets, everything gradually gets alive. From the neighboring villages, flocks of pigeons fly here in search of food. Other kinds of birds can be seen here at this time as well. As it gets dark, in the evening sky, fast hoppers get down to their night shift. As soon as the sun touches the horizon, the air gets chillier and the smells of herds get stronger and more distinct. It is time for us to set off for hunting for quails. The dog browses the alfalfa fields, from time to time scaring bluethroats, warblers and pipits, as well as numerous insects that are immediately eaten by swallows that are flying over the field. But suddenly the dog stops, staying still, as if it came across an invisible obstacle. The hunter runs to the place with his gun, where the dog has got frozen with excitement. He gives the hunter a clever, understanding look. The dog is excited as its master, but stays still until it hears the second command. Only then it sprints ahead. A scared quail tries to fly away from the dog's teeth, but as soon as it rises over the high grass, the bird falls short and disappears in the thick grass. The beauty of quail hunting is in its simplicity and in the charming hunting sight. One doesn't have to travel far to hunt for this game bird with heavy hunting ammunition. This kind of hunt is a sort of communing with nature for the last time before the winter takes hold. Moreover, for many of us who have been interested in hunting since they were very young, the quail was often the first real game and the initial stage on the long road towards becoming an experienced hunter. And the first experiences are usually the brightest and most memorable ones, and as time goes by we try to replicate those feelings and encounters when hunting for quails. The subspecies of quail Caturnix from family Phasianidae includes 4 kinds of quail. On the territory of Kazakhstan there are common quail. Their habitat extends to the European area, the western part of Asia and the most part of Africa. This is the only kind of this breed on the area of Kazakhstan that is migratory. These birds fly here at the end of April and start to migrate in late September through early October. Their main wintering locations are in tropical and subtropical zones of Africa and Asia. Some of the quail can be found in southern and southeastern Kazakhstan. A similar breed to the common quail is the Japanese breed. It dwells far east, Russia, northern regions of China and Mongolia, as well as Korea and Japan. This bird looks like common quail, but its mating screech is quieter and sounds like indistinct droning. It was this kind of quail that was domesticated and is now quite widespread in many parts of the world. It is the only kind of quail that is truly migratory. The domesticated breed of quail is larger than the wild one. Apart from nutritious meat, their main advantage is the larger number of eggs they lay. These days, there are 30 different kinds of breeds of domesticated quail, such as pharaon, black-fronted wood quail, marbled quails. There are quail that are bred for purely decorative purposes because of their bright feathers, for example the Chinese quail. But let's get back to the dweller of Kazakhstan's fields and meadows, the common quail. It is the smallest representative of the class Phasianidae in the country. It is only slightly larger than common starling. Its average weight is about 100 grams. This quail resembles a miniature snowcock, with predominantly brownish-grey feathers. These birds are mostly terrestrial. Most of their time they spend looking for food in thick, high field grass. Therefore, watching this quail in its natural habitat from a field is hardly ever possible. It may only be visible if one scares it, and then it has to rise over the grass, emitting a short, distinct screech. It usually flies low over the ground for a short distance, and the bird then lands heavily into the grass. Watching this, it is hard to believe that these birds migrate for thousands of miles when it is the season. The migration season is the most dangerous period in the quail's life. The birds come across a lot of hazards during the long flight. In the areas of their dense populations, intensive hunting for quail is allowed, which sometimes gets excessive. Thousands of hundreds of quail die trapped in power lines when migrating at night. A lot of them do not reach their much-wanted destination because of bad weather. Birds of prey and terrestrial predators are also a threat to quail. The fact that so many of them survive through their migrating route is amazing. Only quail that dwells south has the value for hunters. This is because to the north of the country, when the birds start to migrate, their number is not significant and they are not visible in the sky of this part of Kazakhstan. But as the quail fly south, more of them join the flock and they are easily noticeable in the southern part of the country. The most important thing to remember for the hunter is to be in the right place in the right time. Hunters may be luckier in the morning and evening hours. First of all, they should browse alfalfa fields that are located near canes, plantations of corn that are near the places where the birds hide from the afternoon heat. The hunter should pay particular attention to thick islands of grass that are not cut. Quail hunting has its own peculiarities that make it attractive. In the autumn, this kind of hunting brings excitement and joy to this leisure activity. Quail and other game alike are a renewable wildlife source. In general, hunting for quail is not intense. Hunting for quail in Kazakhstan is not as popular as hunting for duck or pheasant, so not many hunters are interested in shooting these birds. Quail hunting is mostly attractive for owners of pointing breeds of dogs in the southern region of the country.
Открытие охоты было на перепела, прошло просто феноменально.
The season for quail hunting is open. The hunt was fantastic. The sight is wonderful. The dogs did very well. They are German short-hair pointing breed Deutsch Drahthaar. They have proved to be exceptional. In this quail hunt, 2 dogs participated. One of them is only 1.5 years old. The second dog's name is Rammstein. Speaking about the benefits of quail meat, we should say that by the autumn, these birds store more fat and very few similar game birds can compete with quail gastronomy-wise. Quail meat has been known for being nutritious and healthy since time immemorial. In ancient Egypt, quail was one of few creatures whose image was used in the hieroglyphic alphabet for a good reason. From tender and tasty quail meat in autumn, one can make plenty of tasty dishes. One can fry, stew or roast this kind of meat. Quail stock is a good base for wonderful soups and noodles. Needless to say, people in different parts of the world have hunted for quail for ages, and there are lots of various